Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion, and I am Peter. Over there on the other side, he's built a little different. Is Watch Party. How you doing, sir?
Different good or different bad?
Well, in my tone is different. Good. Um,
Oh, okay. Because I
you
wanted to
know,
be the bad boy today.
hey, you could be a bad boy. Nothing wrong with that. Um, how are you feeling? We have days left, and we have so little days. We can't even say weeks. So that's
I,
got to
I,
be pretty exciting.
oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Getting exciting. Getting a little apprehensive. We got to finish these recaps.
Yes.
I'm going to get videos coming. We're just going to keep the content and go full steam all the way to the 15th and the drop of part two. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Let me see. I did listen to your live stream from last
Hmm.
night. At the
Hmm.
time this recording was last night, and yeah, you mentioned how you got some videos in the works, and I'm gonna be planning for some things with the upcoming part two, and I'm almost thinking like, yeah, we gotta hurry up and knock out these next two episode reviews because we're probably gonna go a little dark, kind of leading like the few days leading up, just working on content. I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, yeah. We're a little behind, and I feel bad about that. It's just we get them out quicker, but I think just
We've
you and it's been hard lining up schedules. I think that's really
Yeah,
like
I think this year has been tough. Not to get too far into it, but both of us, well, I suffered a loss, and you to a certain extent. So we've
Mhm,
had, a really hectic summer, and then, work as that's just how it goes.
mhm,
Yeah, this the fourth quarter is not kind to me, as a
mhm.
podcaster. So
Right.
yeah, we're gonna get these two episode reviews done. And depending on what, if any, new content, Netflix, Sony, Cobra Kai, the series itself drops, um, I may not be on those. But what I can say is, when November 15th hits, late Thursday night for those that are staying up, expect expect some companion content to drop shortly after.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
say that as much now. Okay, so the only bit of news that has come out, at this point, we still have not heard about a premiere. We don't suspect any. The closest thing to that is going to happen over in Dallas, and Dallas,
Mhm.
Texas. And I had hold on a sec. It is this. No, Watch Party, was it what is it, a screening of the entire part two?
No, no, no. I think it's just the first episode. Isn't it just the first episode?
Okay, let me see here. Okay, I got it. It
Yeah.
says ticket with Miyagi-Do in Dallas on November 13th. So just 2 days prior to the release of part two. Big news for Miyagi-Verse. The second part of Cobra Kai's sixth and final season is coming November 15th, excuse me, but fans will have the opportunity to get a sneak peek of it at an event days before its release. So it doesn't specify how many episodes they're actually gonna
I
preview, but
thought
you
it
could be
was
right.
one. Yeah,
Oh,
I
first
thought it
two.
was
Here we
just the
go.
first. Oh, it's the first two.
First two.
So
Receive
it's
an
so
early
it's
preview of the first two.
40% of part two.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And you know what? That's actually what they played at the last premiere, right? At the part one, they only
yeah,
played the
yeah.
first two episodes.
Except they were obviously dropping all 10 episodes, but yeah,
Right.
but John, Josh, and Hayden are going to be there, right? So,
Correct.
um,
Along with Ralph Macchio, Billy Zabka.
oh, great.
Yeah, so it's the five of them. And this is going to happen at
But just to be clear, I think tickets already went available. Are they gone now?
tickets. Yeah, this article came out on the 4th, so just a day ago. We're recording this on the night of the elections. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it says tickets are available now, and you can sign up for them by visiting this link. So, and I'm
Okay.
on the Netflix Tudum website.
So
Uh,
check. I don't know if the tickets are still available by the time you're
right.
listening to this, but if you want to check.
Yeah, yeah. And the it's going to be at uh, Alamo Draft House Las Colinas in Dallas. So
Mhm.
if you're in the area, I just kind of wanted to throw that out. Okay, so now we're gonna get into underdog. God, I did this last time.
Plural,
Is this
underdogs.
underdogs? Okay,
There's more
so
than one. In fact, there's a whole dojo of underdogs.
yeah, I would say so. So underdogs, episode season six, episode four, and this is written by a newcomer, Chris Rafferty, who came from like shows like Lucifer and
Lucifer,
uh,
yeah, I think he was big on that one.
yeah, I think I feel like maybe Flash. I could be wrong on that. But
Yeah.
also this is directed by Sherwin Shalati. My apologies if I mispronounced that. He has previously also worked on Obliterated. So if that name sounds familiar. Um, so watch party this episode. What was your first impression, if you can recall?
I think I enjoyed it a lot. I like Mike Barnes. There hasn't been one scene in Cobra Kai with Mike Barnes that I haven't enjoyed. So yeah, so if your first impression of this episode was very good.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching it, seeing Mike Barnes come back,
Mhm.
and this one also had some return of um, some quotes and lines from the previous movies, and we'll get to those. So a lot of fun, a lot of wink. Um, Not the best color of some of our favorite characters. Again, we'll get to
Mhm.
those,
Mhm. Yeah.
but this is where this is a pivotal episode. This is when the dojo starts to splinter a little bit in terms of the character dynamics.
Hmm.
So, and always, Amy provided the synopsis for this episode. She writes, Johnny and Daniel are struggling to pick the team that they'll be taking to Barcelona and need a neutral third party to help make the call. Enter Mike Barnes. Via Mike. Is it via or is it via? How
Usually via.
yeah, okay, okay. Via Mike, we learned that the Sekai Tekai is more cutthroat than they first realized. Also, per Mike, people have died. Unquote there. The Sekai Tekai doesn't play. The kids, not to mention Johnny and Daniel, are all riddled with uncertainty, suffering from major insecurities and second guessing themselves and each other. Mike's approach to training doesn't help. He's making the rules in all of the decisions, and neither of them like the way he's neglecting their personal pet students. The kids chase
Mhm.
chickens, break boards, do strength challenges, and team comps. And over the course of a couple days, they're narrowed down to a final few. They also get jealous, feel defeated, confess some things, and whine a lot. Johnny and Daniel's personal biases get in the way to the point that Mike Barnes regrets all of his life decisions. After he and Johnny beat the crap out of each other while hurling insults and catchphrases from the original films, he determines that he needs one more competition to decide the final team. Devin, Dimitri, Hawk, and Kenny figure it out for the last two spots via a tense game of capture the flag. Guilt, anger, and anxiety are driving them all. At the end of the day, our team is Devin, Dimitri, San Miguel, Robbie, and Tori. And the biggest lesson we've learned is to never leave your water bottle unattended and let Devin leave. Well, thank you, Amy, for that. Love it. Um, I think she nailed it. It's pretty it's pretty straightforward. There's not
It's a very straightforward episode, maybe even the
yeah.
most. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we open up at Miyagi-Do. Johnny and Daniel are addressing the class. It's intercutting like the season three, the good, bad, and the badass, where like the different senseis are saying something
Hmm.
different. Yep, and the
Yeah.
message is pretty much the same. They're reminding everyone that only six will go to Barcelona, and not everyone is a shoo-in. Did you have anything else that you took away from this cold open?
Well, yeah, Hayden, when he was in my stream, he said, in fact, he even said this when it first dropped. This cold open, this open with all them training, and then it cuts to
Grid?
the mosaic
Oh,
where
yeah.
eventually you get like 12 of them in a row. Um, was completely inspired 100% by like on fans, online fans are always doing power rankings, like this is the top tier, second tier
Oh.
fighters, third tier. Fans, it's on Reddit all the time, people make YouTube videos, people have requested I do it for about 4 or 5 years now. I haven't done one, but yeah, like the power rankings, your first tier, second tier, and that absolutely inspired this open. Especially as it cuts to all of them, and you get like the shot of 12 or even more. Is it 12? Um, yeah,
I
like
think it's
and
12.
so
Yeah.
you got the top tiers. Yeah, you got the top. You get the different tiers and something, and so that was like the complete inspiration for that.
Oh, that's awesome. And I may have prematurely stated that, and then we kind of they do the grid thing because there's a few things in between that I just kind of noted, but there's sequences that like they highlight a lot of the various students and kind of give us a glimpse of where they are mentally. Like at
Right.
one point,
Mhm.
Dimitri looks at like Hawk, with uncertainty, to kind of take a word Amy used, and like Davin at one point she's
Mhm.
looking a little concerned. Like
Mhm.
kind of overlooking, is it Tori and Sam? I believe she's just kind of looking over at.
Yeah,
Um,
she's checking the competition and being realistic about it. I would say it like that.
Oh yeah, she did it all
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
I do like one point Johnny's addressing the students' information and he walks by and like throw the strike towards Bert who blocks it. So
Like
I like
kind of
seeing
like almost so cool. Like
yeah.
one of Bert's best moments. Like it's
Yeah.
like pretty good. Yeah,
Nonchalant too.
yeah.
There's no
Very much.
reaction like,
Yeah.
oh my God, look what I did. There's no
Yeah.
reveal. It's like, yeah, of course Bert can do that.
Hmm.
I mean, he took on like a dude that was like 7'5" in the All Valley in season 4. So
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so we talked about the grid. Now, after the title card, we cut to West Valley High. Sam, Miguel, Tori, and Robbie are walking down the hallway, um, uh, looking like friends, and they're all getting along. They all seem pretty
Mhm.
confident, but it's Miguel that doesn't sound like he's 100% sure. Um, I do like this. This is a oneer too, so
Mhm.
uh,
It is actually
as
pretty impressive. Yeah.
it's pretty good. Because as they exit the frame, we get Dimitri and Hawk come out, and little shout out to Cody for Strike Media.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so seen him there. So he's in the background. That was a episode here that with him.
Yeah.
Dimitri, he's pretty confident that Hawk will make it, and he did some calculating and thinks that Kenny will win the sixth spot over Dimitri himself. So he does say that he's definitely more focused on getting into MIT than the second tech high. Now, are you
Hmm.
familiar with the early action decision that he keeps bringing up here? He's mentions it like twice.
Yes, yes. Oh, if you didn't know what that means. So the way college admissions work, just very briefly. So as you know, like your senior year, you apply to a bunch of colleges or whatever colleges, right? But let's say you really want to go to a particular school. So you can submit for early decision essentially, but you're only allowed to submit to early decision at one university, right? Because your application is submitted by like your school guidance counselor or whoever, college counselor, or whatever. So and they their job is they're supposed to guarantee that each student only submits for early decision to one university. And the purpose of that is like if that's the school, the colleges will accept more students from the early decision. So your best chance of getting in is from the early decision pool,
Uh,
because that's and basically, by the way, you're expected to go. So if you're accepted you submitted for an early decision and you get accepted, you're essentially expected to go to that university. You can't change your
mm.
mind. So
So
it's like you're committing yourself.
right. I was about to say it's kind of like you're
Yeah.
prioritizing that school, so like they're gonna pull from that group of students.
Right, right,
Yeah, who
right.
kind of
So
okay.
it's a way, yeah, for like if there's the college you really want to go to, and a lot of big schools or private schools have that. Not all schools, like I think the state universities where I went to, they didn't have that. It was like probably most public schools, state universities don't. I guess I can't speak for them. I don't know, but definitely like private schools like MIT. Yeah, they have early decisions. So you apply if that's the one you want. So you apply, and then you can still apply to Harvard and Yale and all the others, but that's like normal decision. And so,
Right.
and that'll be they make those decisions after their first decisions, right? You get it? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
kind of different phases throughout the year.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. They exit, and now we follow Anthony and Devin, and Anthony seems pretty confident that she's gonna make it. And Kenny enters, he walks with them, and it sounds like he thinks he will make it over Anthony. Now, I was kind of okay. Anthony and Kenny are freshmen, and
Hmm.
I guess I mean they're all like in the same dojo, Miyagi-Do here. But I was wondering, I was like, well, we know Devin was in high school last year, right? Yeah, because the
Yeah, I
debate
got the
team,
impression Devin, yeah, she was in high school, or even like I always thought
or-
maybe she was a year behind the others. Like so, like she's a junior while they're
right?
seniors.
That's what I
Yeah,
was thinking. Yeah, I
yeah.
thought she was 1 year behind, but I was just like, well, how come she's walking with Anthony? But that doesn't necessarily mean they were in the same class. They were just walking.
They're in the same dojo, right? Like
Right,
so,
right,
you dojos before class snobbery, right?
right. Yeah, got it. Okay, so we cut to LaRusso Auto, and Daniel is going over his list of six, and Johnny is taking a copious amount of notes. You know, being facetious there, because he is doodling
Mhm.
all over some sort of like car flyer or something. Did you get a good look at what he drew and what he wrote?
Was it? Hold on. I show. Oh, he showroom music. Okay, he's actually writing what he wants from Daniel.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
At
but
least
uh,
for yeah.
but there's definitely
Um,
like a few like figures of people.
people, yeah.
Yeah, one's
Maybe
punching the
they're
other kind of.
kicking. I think they're kicking Kia.
There's a
Yeah.
kick and a punch.
Yeah.
One looks like it could be him, but there. I mean, both of them are do rock a bandana, so it's kind of hard to tell which is which. But I kind of like it. Um, let's see. Daniel says that they've been holding off long enough, and now that it's time to talk. Johnny agrees, saying that he wants a 15% in the control of the or wait, 15% raise? No,
But pay bump,
bump.
essentially. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My phone put pump. I was like pump and it control the showroom music. So he's
I
getting
like that.
down.
Control the showroom. Like he doesn't stop at the raise. Like most people
Right.
would just say, "Can I get a raise?" Like Johnny's like, "I want a raise and control the music."
Yeah, like music is a whole vibe. So I don't know if they have like what's that Muzak or what do they call it? But
Oh yeah,
like
whatever service or
yeah,
something. Yeah, like
he probably wants some sort of like, hair metal, like some really kick-ass
hmm
music to get in the mood
hmm
and sell some cars. But we are agreeing that Johnny's now getting paid. Is right? Because
Oh yeah. I mean, I do think like he's an employee, so like that's set. Like right.
okay. So there might have been like a little bit of time, right? Because again, I think it was just episode two, just 2 episodes ago, that Daniel says that oh no, that was about being a sensei. See, I did it again. I think in that same episode review, I was talking about how I mistook it for like working for Daniel,
Mm.
but that
Oh
moment
right.
also hadn't happened yet in that episode. See, okay, never mind. Okay, they let's see, they agree on Sam, Miguel, Robbie, and Hawk, and debate
hmm
over Dimitri and Tori. Johnny comments that even Miyagi would have ranked Tori above Daniel, and you can kind of see like the acting from Ralph here, where bringing up Miyagi, it makes like Daniel a little bit like, uncomfortable. Like he's looking
Right.
off to the side.
They're
Johnny,
weaving it into
yeah,
into throughout the season. Yeah.
exactly. Johnny adds the guy wasn't afraid to knock a few skulls around now and then, and yeah, he gave him as an example as one. They continue to disagree with Anthony and Devin, and Daniel comes up with the idea of needing somebody who doesn't know the kids and can be unbiased. And as Daniel tells Johnny that he has a bad idea, we cut to the bad boy of karate, Sensei Mike Barnes. All right, so tell me what you think.
Happy moment.
Yeah, happy moment.
Yeah.
I like his gi. I love the color scheme.
Oh yeah.
Um, I, I thought that maybe it was influenced by what we see in that flashback too, because I think Barnes was wearing something kind of like black and red, like a black and red
hmm
top. But yeah, the gi looks pretty slick. Uh, would so I guess I'm trying. How much thought have you put into him, like as like being a sensei? Like when do you think was the last time he put on this gi? Because I feel like it's been a long time since he's done karate, right?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I get the impression, even though, he worked in furniture, but he's this sort of guy, like, kept up with it a little bit, like maybe like Sean in real life. He's not out fighting tournaments anymore, but you personal fitness and training. So like you're always kind of like just keeping up with it, maybe just a little bit. So
Yeah.
I get
Okay.
I get the feeling like it's not like unheard of, but like definitely, but like putting on the gi and such, like definitely he's stepping into a new role here.
Right. And you know what? I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but he missed out on an opportunity. Actually, maybe he's coming up here pretty soon. Um, but but maybe he did keep up with that karate for long enough that he was a sensei, and then kind of put that down a little bit, and didn't really show up in competition or anything like that. Just kind of kept it low key, continued to kind of practice the martial arts, and maybe when he got that furniture store, that's when he kind of put it behind him a little
He
bit.
moved aside. Yeah, that's a good point. Even if he was banned from fighting, he didn't give up karate right away. Like I think
Right.
that's like a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Daniel introduces him, and the kids speak amongst themselves, also recognizing him from Silver's house, episode 510. Barnes quickly shuts them up with a silence, similar to Johnny's quiet. Now, on Watch Party, did you by chance check out the Renegade commentary by John, Josh, and Hayden?
No.
So
The
in
what commentary? Wait, the
this
Karate Kid
this
commentary? Is that
correct,
what you
yeah,
said?
I'm sorry, yes,
Oh
for the
no, I never heard it. I never heard it.
okay, yeah, it's on the 40th anniversary Blu-ray,
Yeah,
and
that is.
yeah, there's a few fun nuggets. So what I really, honestly, like for me, for somebody who loves that supplemental material, the price of that Blu-ray, the 40th anniversary, was worth it just to hear these guys talk. So is not only was it like watching like a screening of the Karate Kid with them hosting, it's interesting to hear what each of them kind of fixate on certain scenes and stuff. There's things that they
Mhm,
pointed
mhm.
out that I never like even thought about before. Like I think it was Hayden that mentions like, oh, the Spider-Man in the bathroom. He just thinks it's kind of cool. Like this black guy says like, hey, what's up,
Right,
Johnny? Like it just kind of added a layer to Johnny.
right,
A
right.
little bit.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I never thought about that. But all of this to kind of mention that I believe it was Josh that kind of credits Miyagi in the first movie where just right before the reveal, he's like, show me on the floor. And, Daniel's like, no, because my shoulder hurt or whatever. He's like, show, right? And that's
Hmm.
kind of where Johnny's quiet comes from. I
Hmm.
didn't know that.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then I thought about it. I was like, oh, okay. I can see that. So anyway, I just love listening to these guys talk. And so you pick up on little things like that. There is a
Hmm.
detail that they got incorrect. I won't say who said what and what it was. Just again, maybe you guys will listen to the commentary and see if you can figure it out. Yeah, there's a bit of a something that would have been in like an all Valley Trivia Championship trivia, one of those. Like we
No.
would have had that on there, and
Ooh.
the three of them got it wrong, basically.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, the person who says it and nobody corrects them. So I'm going to say all three
Oh.
got the detail wrong.
There. Yeah. Yeah. Spread the blame.
Yes, but it's just like like doing the podcast and stuff like that. I misspeak often. Like I might be thinking of one thing
Right. Right.
and say a different. I'll say season when I mean episode, and vice versa, whatever.
Oh God, I
Um,
made the same mistake on a video. Not to get off topic, but I was talking about Mikkel's recovery, and I
uh,
accidentally said season 4, and I got like
uh,
a comment. What the hell? You're not even a real fan.
oh God,
Like,
yeah,
oh God.
yeah.
But
I,
yeah,
I'll listen back on the previous episode and I'll be like, oh, damn it, and nobody
yeah.
caught that, or
Mhm.
Also since we're on a tangent, today I listened back on our things we want to see in season 6 or something like that.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think three out of at least three of our collective 16 has happened so far. So
Good. We're
Yeah.
off to a good start.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, man, we sound like well, we know what we're talking about. So
I
there you
mean,
go.
I had been predicting Mike Barnes come back as like a tournament specialist to help them for the Sky Tech Eye almost since season 5 dropped. Like that was
Yeah,
like a long running prediction of mine. So, like
and
I wasn't even like shot. I was happy when he showed up, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I didn't expect that. Like,
right,
because
right.
I spent two
Um,
years predicting.
yeah, you mentioned it on the review too. I'm pretty certain, but like the double date, yeah, the double date with San Miguel, Robbie and Tori, and
Right.
I think you said that you didn't expect it to happen so soon, in
Mm,
that review,
right.
and when I listened back, I was like, oh, yeah, he did mention it in the and man, that was like last year at least,
Yeah. Mhm.
because I think they were at that point Cobra Kai hasn't shut down production yet for season
Right.
6. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I missed the strike. Okay, so back to the episode here. Barnes shares that during his years as the tournament terror, all he wanted was to be in the second Tekai, and we learned that he blew his chance after the events of Karate Kid 3. So
Mhm.
it's probably that. See, so I don't. He, the gi that he's wearing now is maybe the dojo he was associated with, or something. I'm wondering who would he fought for, right? Like, did him not winning the All Valley, with that, did he miss out on an opportunity to join a team that 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 did qualify? Is that
I
kind of
guess
what we're
like
thinking?
look at it like this. He got banned from tournaments
Right.
and his dojo wasn't going to qualify without him.
Mm,
So something like that maybe.
okay.
Because like a
Uh,
big part of the reason the committee was looking at him because they talked about, oh, we won
all
the past
right.
all valleys, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, see, there you go. That's why revisits are good. Back in there you go, 107, All Valley. To hear more of those details. Um, he continues that everyone he knew that participated as horror stories, and says that this thing is intense, unpredictable, and people have died. So I think that's something that a lot of fans have been hanging on
Mhm.
to and saying, "Oh,
Hoping for who's gonna
yeah,
die? Who's gonna die?
well,
You throw that
there's
out
that,
there.
but they're like, oh yeah, that just proves like Miyagi killed somebody. Well, I don't know if
That
it
which is the other side of it,
proves.
yeah, too. Mhm.
Yeah, so now my question is, so if like dying is a very real possibility, what parent would allow like their kid to participate like in the tournament? Like,
I
oh, I've heard of
mean,
that Sekai guy. You could die.
well, I mean, that's like martial arts
Yeah.
anytime. So if you're doing martial arts or frankly, any
Well, they
contact
signed the
sport,
waiver, right?
football, soccer, or hockey, yeah. What
Yeah,
if what
waiver.
if Miyagi died and he was a ghost? No, no,
It's
don't.
That's very possible. That's very possible. We might get a Ghost Miyagi. I mean, we got like Ghost adjacent, you know.
No,
Okay.
he was like a ghost in the movies. He died in like 1949 and
Ah.
was a ghost
Oh,
for the
he
rest.
was Ghost the entire time.
Yeah,
That kind of makes sense. I mean, yeah, and maybe those
that's why
times
he never lost a
Daniel's,
fight. He was so
well,
good. He was a
Daniel's
ghost.
talking to himself. He was actually
Yeah.
talking to like other ghosts. Or Barnes continues to tell the kids what to expect from him. Says that he will surprise them with events, push them to their limits, and that he's been given full authority in these eliminations. Which Daniel corrects him like, what did he say?
Selections.
Selections. Yeah, let's keep it
Yeah.
positive. We also find out that that Barnes says that he would only do this if it's his way or the highway. So it sounds
Mhm.
like Daniel had to really convince him to do this. If he wasn't like really open to it at first. Daniel goes to talk to him as Barnes is admiring my phone put Mars. Anytime I said, well, not, it's mixed. It's Mars and Barnes. So, anyway, he's admiring the backyard and comments that it looks different since he's been there last. Says it's good to be back. See, in the first round, to show him excellence and speed, they are to chase a chicken, a la Rocky. We see a sequence of bringing boards. Amy mentioned a lot of those. Holding shoulders while squatting up against the wall. That, never mind the wall. Those arms, your whatever arm
Yeah.
muscles. Yeah, yeah, that's a tough one.
Oh yeah, that's like phantom chair arms. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's tough. It's gonna kill you if you did that. Like that's a hard one.
it will kill you, so 911 is on standby. Uh, let's see, there's some exercises on the sparring deck. At one point, Chris has Bert on his back and is spinning him around. That was funny. Nate gets the first F-bomb right here, too, where he hits the board and says, fuck. Devin doesn't seem to be catching Barnes' attention, but he definitely takes notice when Kenny captures the chicken. Um, the 12 that Barnes names is Hawk, Robbie, Miguel, Sam, Corey, Muscles. So yes, it was Penis Prince. Okay. Mitch, there we go. Mitch is now Muscles. We have Kenny, Nate, Chris, Dimitri, Devin, and Anthony. And I was kind of joking. Basically, anybody that's had a line, but it does not include Bert in this one.
Yeah, you have yeah, uh Chris, but yeah, it doesn't include Bert. He's kind of the one left out, even though he had that smooth block earlier, but maybe it's one or the other.
Yeah, or
Um,
maybe let me see. They haven't done the flag yet, right? No, they haven't. Yeah,
but
so kind of
do
interesting.
you think these are good tests to find the people for the Sakai Kai? You know, catch a chicken, hold a rock against the fence, like
All right. Are you going to
break
question the
thin
bad boy?
boards. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, I'll talk about it at the end.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I to answer your question real quick, I'm gonna say no because some of these they could have been the same stuff to if they wanted to put on some sort of no, that's not right, exhibition for the Sakatekai committee like
mhm.
on that episode, right? Like that's
Right, right.
this isn't that different really. Like um maybe except from for the chicken, but Barnes congratulates the top 12. What did you think about him giving the little bit of tidbits to some of the kids as he was calling them up? So obviously that's, for story purposes, it's so that way Devin overhears like, oh, he's commenting on, like Kenny catching the
On
chicken and
Kenny catching the chicken.
the
Yeah,
girls are
right.
fierce. I can be fierce too. So this is just really more kind of adding to like Devin's frustration frustrations.
Yeah. Do you
Um
think it's warranted at this point, at the very least?
for Devin.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Um, it just I think out of everyone, this one seems not by much, but the most out of character. For her, I mean, we
Yeah, I
see,
think like yeah, she's like on a negativity. Like she's finding any reason, it as it's set up in the first episode, or not first episode, in the earlier scene at the high school, like she's just really down on herself, um and just looking for any reason to think she's not in it, I guess.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know about out of character, but yeah, I do think she's definitely like overdoing it, like for sure.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, so maybe I didn't mean like out of character, but like my next note was Johnny sees that Devin is big mad, and yeah, because she's really upset, but he goes into checking on her. Um, she doesn't think Barnes gave her a fair evaluation, but the biggest reason here is that she says she doesn't want to disappoint him, and he assures her that she'll make it in. Now there was a one thing that I skipped over here. Daniel goes to congratulate Anthony, who makes the top 12, and he doesn't seem so confident that he'll make the next round, based off
Mhm.
like the competition. But Daniel tells him that he won the All Valley with less, and that the underdog always has a shot. So that'll come up, and hopefully I remember to kind of ask you a little bit later. A
Mhm.
few hours has passed, and we're still at Miyagi-Do. Some of the students are getting some last minute training in, and some of
Mhm.
them are exchanging looks. Um, what do you think is going on with them? Like, leave Devin
Well,
out of this because we'll talk
muscles
about her.
looks is because he's constipated and he's drinking those laxatives. Whose looks are you talking about?
I just feel like everyone's kind of like just exchanging looks, just kind of like
Well, because like they're
keep
all
an eye out.
opponents now, right? Like,
Yeah,
they were
okay.
all training together. It was something. So I think, and it's like it's like peeking on your neighbor's paper or something. You know what I mean? Like, well, what is he training? Should I train that too, or I'm going to train this instead? Like,
It's almost like you're trying to look at somebody's answer and they cover it up and move their shoulder to cover it more. Like, what are you doing? Like this,
yeah, yeah,
I'm hitting the punching bag.
a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see. Muscles goes over to grab his bag of to get some laxatives because he hasn't been able to poop due to anxiety. I know Anthony is like, oh, that's gross penis breath. But like, dude, you're the nosy one. You went over there to ask.
Mm,
Devin is working the punching bag and has a flashback to season four when Johnny tells the class that Cobra Kai doesn't follow the same rules. And this was interesting because one of the memories that she has is where she won a round at the All Valley and Johnny celebrated her victory.
hmm
Um, and then she remembers to like, I guess, quote unquote, failing when she was a Cobra Kai and feeling like she let like Sensei Kim down. Is that kind of what was going on with the flashbacks here? Or did you read anything else into that?
Um, I think
Oh,
she's just like, yeah, she's like just remembering, her own potential, but then she always doesn't make it. Like she gets close and then doesn't make it. Like, she made the quarterfinals at the All Valley and then lost. She had a shot against Sam at those, that um at the Sakai Sakai
exhibition,
qualifier.
right?
Yeah, whatever.
Qualifier, yeah.
And she had a shot against that. And even with a biased ref, is like, up, she didn't get it. So it's like she gets close and then falls short. So I think that's
Okay,
how we could take that.
okay. And then enters Yasmin. And I don't even remember who I thought this was gonna be when I first excuse me watched it because it kind of focuses on her boots or shoes, and then we pan up to kind of reveal that it's Yasmin. Did you have anybody else in mind when you first watched this? Do you recall?
No, I feel like I just took it in like Yasmin. Okay.
Yeah, I
Like
was
I
almost kind of
probably recognized her, like just the way she walks, like no one else walks like that. Like
like.
I just rewatched it. I'm like, yeah, like I can get Yasmin from even before, her head's revealed.
Right. I didn't have a guess, but I think I kind of recall like that's not Amanda. Who's that? And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, it's Yasmin. And so I guess my question is like, where did she come from? She didn't appear to be carrying a purse, a wallet, holding on to keys. And so like she just appears. And because like she could easily texted Dimitri but she
Mhm.
shows up to basically say like, "Well, hey, if you want to reschedule, we can totally do that." So I don't know. I thought it was kind of a weird entrance for her. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I mean, I guess like she knows Dimitri's here training. Like it's not like the craziest thing that she comes by the dojo.
Yeah, because he's
I
getting
mean,
ready.
she goes to the backyard, so she probably knows they normally train in the backyard, right? Like,
Yeah, maybe she's picking
so
him up.
right, exactly. So I think it's just
Yeah.
something like that.
I do love how Nate is like googly eyed and he points inside the dojo when she asks like, where can she find her boyfriend? Um,
Anthony too, a little bit
Anthony,
like,
yeah, he comments on his
yeah,
karate pajamas. That's a I don't know if that's a callback, but that's basically what Miguel called it, right? In the first
yeah.
season. Yeah. And
And I
so,
think it's Yasmin likes to play with Anthony a little bit, so
right, we saw that in well, no, episode 504, right? At
yeah,
the water
correct,
park.
correct,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep.
Mhm.
So I like to see the continuation of that. Um, Let's see. Dimitri basically says that he's okay with being mid, and Yasmin is not about that energy. Dimitri mistakes this for her breaking up with him, but she corrects him and says that the loser vibe is the opposite of a turn on, and tells him that she doesn't date losers and that he's not a loser, and all that matters is that he believes in himself. What did you think about this sequence?
I liked it. I agreed with Yasmin. I mean, Dimitri was bringing down the energy, just talking bad about himself, and it's like I agree with Yasmin. Like you're here
Yeah,
doing this, freaking do it, like and do your best, and maybe you come out on top. See how it goes. But like that down talk, man. No, I don't like that.
yeah. Yeah, it was kind of short. Like I was wondering, like, what if they were just see, we would need like a few more minutes with them. It
Hmm.
could be something that like Yasmin can see that's something is like heavy on Dimitri's mind. So it's not just like the Sekai, at the school. And obviously it'd have to be like a longer dialogue. But I don't know. I just felt that everything was kind of it felt a little bit more told than
Hmm.
showed. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I liked it more if it was kind of being showed. 'Cause it's just like Yasmin just shows up and just kind of tells us what we need to know. I think, like I feel we could have used a little bit more of these two together because we haven't we don't get enough of them, you
Yeah,
know?
we don't get the girls. We got nothing of Moon. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
and Dimitri is in this specific couple, like Dimitri and Yasmin. I mean, they've been running since season three, but
right.
um, but they're kind of like a side story. It's kind of off to the side. So
Yeah. Um, they talk about yeah, going to go practice, turns her on. He tells her that he's gonna go practice, and that turns her on. And he kind of says the thing that Hawk says in was it season four? I'm gonna win this whole. He says freaking thing, but drops the F bomb. Season four, and and then they kiss. We cut to the next morning at Miyagi-Do. Miguel has a talk with Hawk, and he learns that he isn't completely committed to MIT and suggests that he should talk to Dimitri about it. This is also another pairing we don't get enough of, you know.
which
And
one,
I
Miguel
know,
and Hawk?
yeah, yeah, Miguel and Hawk, just because I know that like uh, Hawk and Dimitri are Bidarian brothers, but like we haven't
Yeah,
seen these guys really bond since like season two.
to season two for the
Yeah,
most part. Yeah.
yeah, two
And
to
I loved
three,
them
yeah,
in season two, like the Miguel Hawk. I even
yeah,
talked about it in a video. Like it was
like
one
the
of my
first few
favorite
episodes, yeah.
relationships. Yeah. Um, yeah, I really loved that. But yeah, then Hawk moved back towards Dimitri.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's fine. They have they're shipped and they have a name, I
They have
guess.
history. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Barnes. He learns. Okay, Barnes calls upon the top 12 and tells them that today's activity will be a battle royale of capturing the flag. Um, see, during evaluation, Johnny tries to throw in his 2 cents about Devin. That distracts Barnes from observing everyone else. And Daniel's there, and I'm not sure why he doesn't just pull Johnny off to the side and to leave Barnes alone. But obviously, we need Barnes to be distracted and for Devin to see that.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't. My next note is about Kenny and Anthony towards the end of it. Did you have any kind of comments about like the this whole action sequence? I love like the camera work and like everyone's just jumping around and stuff. But
Oh, yeah. There's some good ones where they're swinging each other and back and forth because it's
yeah,
supposed to. Or wait, that's another one. Which one was that? Oh, that was earlier. But this
yes,
one with the flags, yeah. Okay,
I
but
like
yeah,
some of.
the go
I like the
ahead.
choreography, but I just my issue is anytime somebody's when their flag gets stolen, I don't mind when they keep running. It's like, sorry, dude, or something like that. But like the ones that take a few beats to react physically, I'm like, that's how you lose them. And I'm glad that
I know.
for some of those reactions, they are losing a flag. So it's just that thing. It's like, come on, do better, right? Like
Yeah,
we're preparing for the Sekai Tekai. So, but maybe this is by design, right? Like they're supposed to be sloppy,
yeah.
and we're supposed to be like, this is not going to work out for them.
Yeah, I remember thinking like people weren't using optimal strategy. Like if it's all about the flags, like I was looking like Devin throws this cool like spin kick or something, but like that's
On
not going to
Sam.
help her get a flag. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
right,
And
yeah,
then it ends up costing her a flag. Like so definitely like I'm always like strategizing it and looking at what's optimal and most of them I don't think are using optimal strategy.
right. No. Um, Anthony and Kenny face off, and Kenny accidentally hits Anthony. So upon a rewatch, I don't know, it doesn't look like a fluid move that was accident. It does look like Kenny just hit him. But I mean,
Mhm.
the reaction obviously he seems pretty genuine about his apology, but I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on that? The accidental hit that leads him to bleed,
I
Anthony
think
there.
it's just, it's setting up the little bit. It's still a little bit questionable between the two of them. So that's
Right.
that's pretty much it.
Daniel has a little problem here that Barnes doesn't really address it, but instead compliments Kenny, and Daniel even comments that he's turning back to the bad boy. And Barnes comments that maybe that's a good thing because then maybe Silver wouldn't have burned down his business. Um, do you think there's a little truth to that? I don't think so.
I don't think he was going to stop Barnes from burning down his business once he got back involved.
Right,
Like I think almost that comment is the bad boy coming through. Like if I were the bad boy, everything would be all right. But that is what the bad boy is. So like he's in a way he's proving Daniel right with that.
right. Based off the number of flags, Tori, Robbie, Sam, and Miguel are going to Barcelona, and the bottom four are tied. Barnes says he'll review his notes and make his decision the next morning. Devin and Johnny talk again, and this time she's very upset and thinks that he ruined her chances by talking with Barnes. Um, and now inside Miyagi-Do, this one was interesting. Daniel and Anthony, they have a brief moment.
Mhm.
Anthony isn't happy because he thinks his dad gave him false hope. What did you take from this scene?
I think Anthony's right. So the lesson is, kids, never listen to your father.
Never.
He leads you down the wrong path. He gives you false hope, and you just end up with a bloody nose and disappointment.
That's right. No, I mean, I don't know. I disagreed. I thought Daniel was just kind of just being fatherly, but I feel like he meant it, you know. He won the
Yeah,
All Valley with less, and so
he did. He really did. Yeah. So I mean, I think Daniel's coming from Daniel's point of view, um, which is like another thing. Like sometimes, like the father's point of view is obscuring the vision of what the reality is. So,
yeah.
like I do think the deck was stacked against Anthony, pretty deep. So
Okay. So that's interesting. I guess reserve more thoughts
because
for
because Daniel won the All Valley with less, but even still, the other students still have more. So he has less, but like even everyone else still has more. Like he's still like out of that cut, the 12, he's
Mhm.
still kind of probably at the bottom of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. And he is the first one to get, have a bloody nose or some sort of injury. So,
Yeah. But
yeah. Okay.
I will say, in a way, Daniel is right. Give your all. Like I'm not advocating the Dimitri method because I was just in the last scene. I was just talking about,
Yeah.
Yasmin's right. Don't talk down to yourself. So actually, so in reality, yes, Daniel's right. You should give it your all. You never know what you have inside of you until you try. Um, that it's just being a little facetious,
Sure.
but it
Sure.
is hard because like it is hard when like you give it all your all, but like realistically, you're probably not there, and there's actually, a great debate. Should we be
Yeah.
realistic or should we, even, trick ourselves into thinking we have a better chance? Because studies show if you can trick yourself that you can win when probably realistically you can't, you actually do have a better chance of winning. So, or pulling through, finishing the race, whatever it is. So
Mm.
it's like it's a back and forth, and there's schools of thought, and some people will always abide by that. Daniel, he just what, if you made it this far, then it means maybe you can make it a little bit further. Um, which I guess I like. I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
actually a little conflicted on.
Are you familiar with the what kind of band were they? A Modern Talking in like the early 80s? They
Is
did
that a
a
movie?
no, no, it's a duo that they're a band. They
Oh,
did a song called "You Can Win If You Want." And but anyways, some of the things you were saying kind of reminded me of the lyrics. I'm like, are you about to break
yeah.
out to a song?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you can win if you want. If you want it, you
Mhm.
can win. That's kind of
Mhm.
lyrics. Um, okay, so Johnny. So we cut to Barnes's shop. Now, this is probably where they make the furniture, right? In the furniture store is kind of where they keep maybe some of the extras in storage or whatever. But I think they actually make the furniture probably in this warehouse
Workshop or something. Yeah.
workshop. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, and so Johnny shows up, says he's there to apologize, but Barnes reads him like an open book and calls him out for coming to check if Devin made the cut. Things
Hmm.
escalate, and Barnes tells Johnny that he's got some skills, but that he's built different. Johnny, Johnny says that he's just a goon for a hire, or says that at least it's better than being a cream puff. And now my biggest question here is, do you think Barnes was at that 84 All Valley?
No, I think Daniel told Barnes about the cream puff comment.
Okay.
Just somewhere in the conversation about everything. Maybe
Uh,
even when Daniel was telling him. I mean, I get, Barnes met Johnny, but they didn't know each other well when they went to Terry Silver. So like maybe just filling him in on a little backstory somewhere.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and,
See,
and
yeah,
likewise, Danny, Johnny's like, you were just a hired goon, right? Like, so that probably also came from Daniel. Daniel likes to talk.
he sure does, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, let's see. They both strike first and hit fists, and have a very careful fight to make sure that nobody gets a limb sawed off.
Just careful enough.
Low stakes. A table saw goes off, and it's some really great choreography, but nobody was gonna, lose anything, So I thought it was fun. It was fun.
No, yeah. It was fun. Yeah.
At one point, it seems as though Barnes has a leg up, and then he tells Johnny his karate is a joke. And before he can finish his next sentence, Johnny strikes back, and they fight some more until Barnes is knocked down and concedes. Um,
Mhm.
did you like the way that fight ended?
Um, I was a little shocked. I think at first, I think most fans would expect Barnes to beat Johnny, but I guess I could rationalize it. At least I think the way John, Josh, and Hayden are thinking, in writing this and such, is the thinking is Barnes is a little out of practice, like we were saying. Even if he kept up, he didn't keep up hard. Meanwhile, Johnny has been cross training with Miyagi Do, so he's learned more of that. He's got more balance. Barnes is off balance because he's re-emerging as the bad boy, but it's kind of throwing him off. It's unsettling. So I
Mm,
think with the technical skills that Johnny has and Barnes is a little rusty, and with the balance that Johnny has, I think that's the idea why Johnny wins this fight.
okay. Yeah, I guess I can understand that because I was wondering, I was like, would there be another version that I would have liked better? Like
Mhm.
what if they just went on a little bit longer and just tire the
Mhm.
hell out of each other? But Johnny is the one with like a little bit more stamina because he has been, working out more and kept up with the karate as of late,
Mhm.
in comparison to Barnes. So. But yeah, at least I can understand that. But it's just almost kind of like, oh man, just a little bit longer in the fight because I felt like it kind of ended a little too soon. Yeah. Barnes apologizes and says that he, ever since they brought karate back into his life, that he's been itching for a fight, hoping that it would help him recapture some sense of his power or something. And then I was just thinking like, well, then he should have not played fight with Daniel like in the last season and just fight Chosen again. Um,
Mhm.
let's see. Johnny asks him to do him a solid and check his notes over again. From one bad boy to another. I like that line. So it also kind of reminded me how in season 3, when Johnny's trying to see Miguel in the hospital, he tells the nurse or whatever that come on, be a bad girl. You know.
Right.
Uh, is the next morning we cut to the woods. Barnes gathers everyone up and tells them that it was too close of a call, and now there's a new challenge. There are two flags deep in the forest, and whoever brings it back wins. And this is kind of similar to Kreese's quest, no? Don't let
Um,
anything stand in your way. The eye of the prize, or whatever. Keep your eye on the prize. which would be the flags in this case.
I guess I never made that connection. I mean,
Hmm.
because this is more of like a straight competition, and Crease was more of like a spirit quest. So I do think
Okay.
there are differences. Yeah.
Okay. He tells them to stretch, use the restroom, or call their mom. Um, let's see. Johnny takes a moment to go reiterate the good news to Devin that she gets another shot. Devin's still not confident about her skills, and Johnny reminds her of what he saw in her on the debate stage. Tells her to do whatever she can with what she's got. And then we got a moment with Dimitri finding out that
The,
Hawk did
the,
not. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was just like, or yeah, I wrote like this is the episode of negative attitudes, which we've been talking about now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Devin
Hmm.
and Dimitri. It's just like boy, like it's a tonal shift like for the episode because like kind of the focus for the students is actually a little bit more on Devin, Dimitri, and then we have Hawk here too. And there's like and it's like the second tier or even third tier of their fighters, but like they're looking up and not thinking they got it. So it's like, yeah, negative. And it's an unusual under the hood, like tone shift under the cover. Like
Mm,
you don't necessarily pick that up, but like from the students, there's actually a lot of negativity going.
absolutely. I also wrote that Dimitri was big mad, in the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hawk tells him at least he's not an overbearing control freak. It
Yeah.
says that his obsession with MIT is freaking annoying. And so Dimitri breaks up with him. He kind of does like that childish thing, like, oh, okay, yeah. So if that's what you want, then fine. It's just like,
Right.
you guys have been
Right.
friends since you were kids. What's going
I
on here?
know. I think they overdo the MIT stuff. I don't
Mm,
know how else to put it. I think the fans just aren't as compelled by like what colleges they're going to. We're interested in the karate and somewhat the relationships, right? That's it.
yeah, yeah, I can see that. There's a bit of a slow-mo sequence here. We got Devin, Kenny, Dimitri, and Hawk at the starting line. And let's see, I like the moment where like Kenny has a water bottle and he squirts water in his mouth. Kind of
It's
reminds me
pretty
of,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's like an athlete just right before like go time. It's
Hmm.
like a boxer or something like that. As they take off, you can see Kenny slip a little bit. And if you listen to my interview with Dallas, he revealed that was uh, an actual mistake, and he couldn't believe that they used that take. But it kind of worked out, like Kenny was trying to like really, go fast, and he just happened to slip.
Hmm.
Um, Kenny and Hawk are definitely the fastest. And was it me or did Dimitri look like he just wasn't trying to go too fast? Or was he just slow?
But it's probably just slow. Like, but at the same time, like he knows he's not as fast as the others.
Yeah.
So pounding
Okay.
too hard is just going to wear himself out.
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. Daniel takes some. No, no. Okay. Just put up. Daniel takes a moment to go talk to Barnes again about what happened with Anthony the previous day. Barnes apologizes for being a dick. Mentions that he think he's got it all out of his system when him and Johnny fought last night. Um, do you do you? I guess it's not out of the realm of like possibility where Barnes doesn't think that like Johnny would have like gone rogue, right? Like the night before. He just figures that, oh, Daniel knew that Johnny went over there
Um,
for him just kind of casually like, oh yeah, because me and Johnny got in a fight last night.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think like to Barnes, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's just like casually fighting, mentioning it. Yeah.
At one point, Muscles is looking for his laxatives, and we see Devin. Uh, then we cut to Devin and Kenny, who's almost neck to neck. But then we hear like Kenny's got the bubble guts, and then he runs all the way back to try to use the potty. Bert was inside, and he shits his pants. And so,
Mhm.
do you recall like what your first what did you think? What were you thinking about when this happened? When you first watched?
Mhm. This
For
specific moment, like I was like I could follow the story logically. Like Um, Definitely looking back a little, I think like he he should have just ran through it, man. Like, what's up?
Yeah, yeah.
And like in the laxatives act so fast, whatever. But yeah, like I'm my take is like he should have just like, come on, man, like this is it. Like he had to run so far back to just get to that porta potty. Like he must have been almost to the flag, right? Like, and then
Yeah.
he turns around like, eh.
I mean, you're in the forest and you guys are probably early enough that nobody else is around because like they met up basically where I'm assuming people usually, go and have a picnic, right? There's like benches there. I mean, there's a porta
Yeah,
potty,
take
obviously.
a
It's
hike. Yeah,
I don't think that's something that Barnes like brought himself.
of
So
course. Yeah.
I'm thinking like you're already deep out in the forest. Just go out in the tree line,
Go
you know?
just get the flag, like just get the
Yeah,
flag and run
there you
back. And then when you win, drop it and go to the potty. Like
go.
if he just ran another 10 seconds, he would have had the flag. Like he might have still shit his pants, but he would have at least won with shitting his pants.
Yeah. Or not even go like make it back to the porta potty. Just grab the flag
Just don't
and
even
then
worry about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then anybody around will give you your, privacy. So, when this first happened, I kind of thought, oh, this is that, Bert shitting in a tuba. This is gonna be like the alternative to that because it's Bert that's in the porta potty, right? And that's why, Kenny couldn't
Bert was
go.
shitting. You're right. Yeah, Bert was
Yeah.
shitting. So we didn't get the tuba unless instead of a toilet, it's a tuba inside. Uh,
And Bert, he really had to go. He had to go so bad. He couldn't feel somebody shaking the door trying to get it opened, and the door must have been really thick because he didn't smell anything until he stepped outside the door. So anyway, Dimitri and Hawk find each other near the last flag. They both fight for it, and Dimitri kicks Hawk over a boulder and is able to head back with the flag. For the dramatics a little bit here, where Dimitri's kind of walking back, looks like he didn't get it, and then surprises everybody. It's like
Mhm. Right.
with Dimitri's victory, Barnes announces Miyagi-Do's Sakai Takai team. We got Miguel, Sam, Robbie, Tori, Devin, and Dimitri. Hawk is walking back, all dirtied up. Also, I guess I forgot to mention this is the first episode with the American flag mohawk.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's revealed at the beginning.
Yeah, because I had wondered if we saw the promotional video and
Mhm.
stills before the drop, and so I had wondered like is there going to be a moment where Johnny makes fun of him or makes a comment like hell yeah that's badass something, but nope, he just shows it with the American flag and we're just okay with it.
It's never
But
commented on.
yeah, not by the characters, but the the I
Well,
think
the
fans
fans, yeah,
the
the
fans
fans for sure.
they have comments.
Mhm.
Um, are you a fan? I don't know if I know this. If you like the Mohawk or not.
I think it's good. I think it fits the tournament. Like, and I get like Hawks mindset, so I kind of do get like, hey, we're gonna go to Barcelona now. We're kind of representing USA, like, so I get it. I think it fits the tournament. It fits the character, so it works for me.
I don't mind the design. I just it looks big and heavy. Like I feel Hawk's gonna break his neck if he has his head turned wrong. Yeah,
It is just hair.
it is, but it could have been shorter, but probably extensions to kind of make it look bigger. I don't know. It definitely it looks more like I mean because it is a prop, but it looks more like a prop than it is actual like
Mhm.
his mohawk. Let's see, Devin, Kenny. Okay, so Kenny exits the porta potty. Devin comes over to check in on him, and Kenny
Mhm.
says he doesn't think it was an accident, and Anthony did it. Devin asks if he will tell the senseis, and Kenny says that they wouldn't believe him anyway. And as he walks off, Devin apologizes, and no, not because she's sorry that it happened to him, because we all know it was Devin's fault.
Mhm.
She sneaks the laxatives back into Muscle's bag. Johnny congratulates her. Now, very minor nitpick, but if I was muscles and I know if I knew that somebody went into my bag, it doesn't matter that it's a laxatives.
Doesn't
I
she
would,
throw them away?
oh, is that what it
Or she,
is? She tosses it
yeah,
in
I
the
thought she goes to the
trash can.
trash can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I stand corrected. Or not
Yeah.
corrected. Wrong. But anyway, I thought she was putting
Well,
it
you were
back.
just saying sometimes you get things wrong.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, no, that one is a mistake that I'm like, wait, what is
Yeah.
that? Okay,
Yeah.
because that makes more sense because if she put it back in the bag, and then Muscle's going to be like, okay, well, somebody definitely stole it and put it
Right.
back, you know, and
Right.
so
But if it's just gone, he may think I lost it or whatever, you know.
yeah, if it's in the trash, then maybe it fell and somebody just tossed it. Not nobody
Hmm.
knows his.
Right.
Except for how he shouts out, "Anybody see my laxatives?" But wasn't he trying to be like discreet the night before? So okay, Daniel goes over to Johnny, tells him that he knows about the fight, says that they both know that it should be Hawk that should be on the team. Johnny's not sorry for what he did and says that he'll fight for the people he cares about. Daniel questions if he believes if they have Sean's team. He says that he thinks that they can handle anything, and Daniel says he hopes so, or he hopes he's right, if they have no idea what they're up against, and we have an end stake. I thought it kind of
Okay.
ended a little abruptly.
Um, yeah, and you know what? I have written here, shit. Daniel doesn't have faith in his own students and blames Johnny for it.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah, like this is the negative episode. I mean, like Daniel, like he takes this and he doesn't believe in his own students. He's
he doesn't
blaming
believe in
Johnny for it.
Barnes. Also, you know,
Yeah, right. It's this isn't my favorite Daniel. Um, like, I mean, he should be like more focused. Okay, this is the team we got. This is what we're gonna work with. I also think the whole thing is like the episode ignores the big picture. So he's saying we should have Hawk instead of Devin, which may be a true fair point. Hawk won the All Valley. He probably is a better fighter than Devin. But like, why does Johnny only think about Devin? Why doesn't Johnny respond? You know, we should have Hawk instead of Dimitri because we know Johnny isn't a big fan of Dimitri, and that's never changed. So I feel like the episode is kind of ignoring obvious points to make. Like, you know, even it's not Hawk or Devin, it could be Hawk or Dimitri. And I feel like it's out of character for Johnny not to bring that up.
yeah,
The
no,
show is just kind of conveniently forgetting about that.
yeah, I agree. And you know, maybe like the fight for Devin is because like we just saw like in episode 3 that they did the sleepover, right? So
Mm,
it's kind of maybe not a reminder is the right word, but it's you know we're seeing that they have a stronger relationship than Johnny does
yeah,
with Hawk, like he used to in season 2.
it's
Um,
it
yeah,
um about the whole thing because I asked Hayden this in my chat, and Hayden's like, "Well, Hawk's been training with Daniel too long. He has that Daniel stink on him for Johnny."
yeah,
Like that
yeah.
was Hayden's answer. So take that for what it is.
Right. And you know, I mentioned it, you know, kind of at the top of the show. This episode has a lot of like colors we don't like on some of our favorite characters. You're right. Well,
Mhm.
you know, like if Daniel hadn't heard about the fight from Barnes, and Barnes still came out with the same outcome, right? These are gonna be the six. Daniel would have just told Johnny like, yeah, man, I don't know, man. Like I don't know about the Devin thing, and so he wasn't going to be happy either way. It's like, well, then why did you go to Barnes in the first place, then?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Like it was. I mean, you made the deal, and you got to kind of accept the results because you promised the students at this point. So.
right. All right. So, any last comments about episode 4 here before we get into feedback?
Well, okay, so my overall take on episode 4 is like I feel like part 2 is really what determines if this is a great episode or just a decent episode because ultimately what I want to see in part 2, I mean what I really want to see is like I want to see that Mike Barnes got them the team they need to win the Sakai Takai. Like that's what I want. I want him to win, and I want him to win with the team Mike Barnes gave them. So maybe Mike Barnes knew something Johnny and Daniel didn't. Maybe they do need someone who will play dirty the way Devin did. Um, I don't know what that'll be. We see street attacks and stuff like, but maybe Devin being there can work out. Maybe catching the chicken or, John, I mean, Kenny's maybe the alternate or whatever, but in those other tests, the flag test, is that the right test? We'll find out.
Right,
But like if we get into part two in the Sekai Taikai events, seem completely disconnected to this. And it's like, well, why do they have this team? They could have had this person or that, or like, it doesn't make any sense. Then I feel like this episode um, gets worse. So like this
right,
episode will either get better by part two based on the way the tournament goes and the matches, or in which case it could be really, really good and a great send off for Mike Barnes, or it kind of gets worse and then and on a rewatch, it'll actually be really annoying. If you
right,
know what happens and like, well, this is stupid, and they're like Devin, this whole no refs, no rules to race. Like, is that how you find the best person? I mean, we're gonna find out, but if none of that comes up in part two, I think on a rewatch that's gonna annoy you.
right. And additionally, now you're kind of questioning, did Barnes go a little soft when Johnny asked him for that little favor? Hey, just look over your
I
diary
mean,
again.
that's been on my mind. I'm
Right.
and we're gonna see. I mean, we're gonna find out presumably in part two here.
I never would have thought that if you hadn't mentioned that. That's really great insight, 2 cents. But yeah, you're right about that. Um, yeah, just a configuration of the six,
Mm-hmm.
like so we will wait and see. Um, all right, in the Facebook group, if this is something you're interested in doing, where you leave a comment, or feedback, questions, what have you, for some of these episode reviews, we have 11 episodes left to go. And I will put out uh, like a post, soliciting for feedback in the Companion Network group, Facebook group. So the first one comes from Cody. I mentioned him earlier. He comments, "That guy behind Haka Dimitri is pretty darn handsome, wouldn't you say?" In all seriousness, Barnes coming in to give an unbiased selection for Miyagi-Do's top six fighters was definitely brilliant. I always felt we needed another fixing of Mike since season five concluded. I'm also glad we got a satisfying fan matchup type fight with Mike versus Johnny, even though that fight completely did not need to happen. I wouldn't say this is the best episode of part one, but it's up there. Would you agree with that? Is this up there? The
I
first
would put
first
it
five?
at. I think I put it at number three in part one, episode three, five, and then four. Um, if you want me to
Yeah.
rank them,
Right, right,
um,
right. I
yeah,
really have to think about that. I can.
it's close with part one.
Right.
So we'll
Okay.
see.
Okay. Let's see. Next one comes from Dorian. He says, highlight of the episode, Johnny versus Mike. Perfect fan service.
Well,
Thank you,
you're right
Dorian.
about
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Next one comes from Jera. She says, excellent way to bring Barnes back. Both times he yelled, now was a great way to show that the bad boy of karate has returned and meant business. John said he improvised that in an interview. Making them compete with each other like that was brilliant.
Hmm.
Now, I love Devon's character, but was anyone else getting annoyed with all the whining? I get that she's super competitive, but OMG. I think what she did to Kenny was so not cool. I realize Kenny hasn't been the nicest person, but I don't think he deserved that. Does anyone think that the guilt she felt for doing it will be too much for her to be at her best at the Sekai Tekai? I guess we'll find out. So that Dimitri finally stood up for himself and got the flag from Hawk. A great callback when he held his arm back and said, "See how it feels." In my honest opinion, Dimitri deserved to go to the Sekai Tekai. So all in all, I thought this was a good episode. Well, thank you,
Hmm.
Jara. Well, that's kind of interesting there because we were talking about like Dimitri's attitude, and
Hmm.
and she's saying like, oh yeah, well he stood up for himself, and like these are like different sequences of Dimitri in this episode,
Mhm.
but it's kind of interesting that that's kind of what stuck out for her. But yeah, the callback to almost like breaking the arm from season
Three.
three, three, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You know, it just occurred to me, there's an important discussion in the fans that we didn't even address is, okay, so for the race, Mike Barnes run, he's like, no, there's no refs out there. There's no rules, win at all costs. Um, Under those conditions, do you believe Devin technically cheated or not? Um, there were no rules about sabotaging your opponents,
right,
which she did, although
right,
she didn't win under the presumed task. She didn't win solely under the presumed task, which was run. I mean, she did run and get the flag and get back, and she did it, got that one before anyone else did. She just sabotaged one of her key opponents.
right. I'm gonna okay. So phrase those two options again, or rephrase those, or not rephrase,
Well,
but
basically, do you think Devin cheated and
okay,
doesn't deserve a spot? Or do you believe she won the flag under the conditions set out by Mike Barnes, which specifically said no refs, no rules, win at all costs?
right, the latter. So I agree with the latter, and even Johnny says God, I know it's up here somewhere, but basically like do what you can with what you got, something to that effect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like a little tangent, but I was once asked to be a best man for a wedding, and the the bachelor party was going to be in Vegas. And originally, my then fiance, now wife, she was not keen to the idea, and and then long story short, she was like, "Fine, go ahead, buy the ticket." And then I bought the ticket. I was like, "Yay!" She said yes. She said yes. And
Hmm.
so that's Devin here. Johnny says, "Do what it takes," and I did
Hmm.
what it takes. The laxatives, I knew about them. I knew where to get it. And I used it to my advantage, and here I am.
Hmm.
Yeah. So deserves a spot under that condition. I think she's the better fighter or option. Probably not.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, really good question.
Yeah.
Um,
And like I said, we'll see if that pays off in part two.
Right, exactly. You want it to be earned, this
Yeah.
whole
Hmm.
episode. Yeah. Next one comes from Jeff. He says, I got to be honest, and I don't think I have ever said this about a Cobra Kai episode, but I was disappointed with this one. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but just so much bothered me. Aside from Barnes, especially the Barnes Lawrence fight, I felt like it was largely pointless and the writing was strange. Strange. Characters were not acting like themselves or would just turn on a dime. And we kind of addressed that.
Yeah, I think he's addressing the negativity that we were just talking about from
Yeah.
so many of the characters.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He continues, like Devin being super emo and lacking confidence, all while trying to get into the toughest competition in the world. If she
Hmm.
doesn't think she can win against her dojo mates, then why bother? Or Anthony suddenly going from, I got a shot, to, I just want to go home because of one punch in the nose. That was a little quick, but like they try to give us that scene with Daniel, but I
Hmm.
can still understand where he's coming from. And then
Hmm.
he ends it with, then there were a couple of what I will call continuity issues. First, Noe Barnes is a 10th degree black belt. There are only a handful of those in the world, and he would certainly not achieve that if he had taken all this time away from karate. And Hawk keeping up with Kenny off the line in the woods. Come on, man. LOL. Sorry for the negativity, but it irked me. Um, and and we kind of talked about it, like the little slip by Dallas actually kind of
It
worked for
works.
that.
It
Yeah,
looks genuine. Yeah.
yeah, and then the whole the Barnes's black belt, we
I
kind of came up with
I
something for
think
that.
here's the thing. He's thinking of Mike Barnes, but he needs to be thinking of Mike fucking Barnes.
There you go.
Mike
There you go.
fucking Barnes is a
We'll
10th
have
degree
a
black belt.
black
Yeah.
belt, right? Yeah, yeah. Mike Barnes is like a second degree black belt.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just Mike Barnes.
Yeah, that's just Mike Barnes. But no, Mike, yeah, that's Michael Barnes. Thank you, Jeff, for that. The next one comes from Ron. He says, it was good to see Yasmi Tree again. I like the pep talk she gives him. Also, I think there was some foreshadowing that no one caught. I think Dimitri is going to win the Sekai Tekai. Back in season 4, Eli said he was going to win this whole fucking thing, and then he won. Dimitri said to Yasmin that he would win this whole freaking thing. Why give him that line if it's not a prediction of what's to come? It could just be a callback to season four, but I think it's foreshadowing. That's very interesting. I definitely thought it was just a callback. So, what do you think? Do you think callback or possibly foreshadowing? I mean, I know you got videos in the work too.
Uh, I think this one is just I mean, I think it's just callback. I don't think we're at foreshadowing for that.
Okay. And I purposely stopped at that comment because he then came back and edited this comment
Oh,
shortly after and says, I just so happened to meet Gianni Vincenzo on the street in my neighborhood while walking my dog a few hours after writing the above. See attached pic below. I asked him if my prediction is correct about him winning. He shrugged and said, we'll see. And so it's a picture of Ron and Gianni is kind of doing like the hang loose um, hand gesture with his signature Gianni open mouth. So so that's really cool there, Ron. Yeah,
Nice
that's got
one.
to
Yeah.
be pretty. He wrote it out to an existence.
There you
Um,
go.
the next one comes from Randy. He says the episode seemed like little more than a vehicle to bring Mike Barnes back in for one more episode, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but also did not push the plot forward that much. It didn't occur to me until just now that Anthony had some oddly pathetic lines about Kenny back at the beginning of season four when Kenny was first introduced. It didn't occur to me until now just that Anthony had some oddly prophetic lines about Kenny back at the beginning. Regardless, it didn't land towards Anthony being a
Oh, I
likable.
think he made it something about it. Like he looked like he shit himself. That's what he's saying in Kenny's first episode on the bus or something when Kenny was
Oh,
dancing. He says something like, "Oh, he looks like he shit
okay.
himself." Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, he says
That's
that.
what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, with him whining to his dad about getting false hope about being an underdog, to him mocking Kenny for the shittening, Anthony remains a rather annoying character. What do you think?
Um I don't know. I get Kenny like in or I mean Anthony um in this, especially, I mean, I'm more focused on him and Daniel here, but like, I think
Sure.
his interactions with Kenny actually felt genuine. Like, he laughs when Kenny shits himself, which most people do. He's still, got that kind of relationship with him, but then Kenny thinks now it's Anthony, but Anthony doesn't know that yet.
Right.
But yeah, I think, I don't know. I actually felt it was in character for Anthony.
Yeah.
Maybe you find that the annoying part, like, which fair enough, but
Fair. No, absolutely
yeah.
100% fair.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say annoying, but I really liked his moment with Yasmin, as short as that was. Like Anthony
Mhm.
and that just because it just
Yeah. Yeah.
reminded me of the season five. So
Right. Mhm.
I kind of like that. Also on the a little tangent about season five. Watch party, you saw this on X, but I did post a picture of a Uncrustable that I had for the very first time.
Oh, you did.
I had a strawberry one and a grape one. How about that?
Mm.
So I liked it. I did not realize it's literally just a PB and J with the sides like closed in. I thought it was something else
Oh, you
like
didn't? I mean, I thought that
yeah.
was obvious,
No, I
having
thought it was
having
like
never
a
eaten one myself.
yeah, I thought it was like a pastry or something. Like I didn't realize it was. I thought it was more like a kind of like a peanut butter and jelly pocket. Like I thought that's what it was. But no, it's literally just a sandwich without the crust. So I guess Uncrustables, I just didn't what that actually meant. So anyway, that is the end of our feedback for episode four. So,
All right.
yeah, thank you everybody for that. Watch party. Any last thoughts about this episode? And anything you want to tease coming up before the part two drop?
Um, I am, as far as Devin is, I am leaning that, she in a way got the green light for what she did.
Mhm.
But I really want to see how this plays out. Does she confess? Does she feel like she cheated? It is worth noting in a world karate tournament, like fighting tournament, where people have died. You don't necessarily want to get there if you don't belong there, because that's a good way to die.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, that's something, we're going to see how it plays out in part two. And these are all the things like I'm actually kind of looking forward to in part two. So that's it. Well, I'll come back to this episode after part two.
There you go. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But you know what? Not gonna lie, after kind of going over the scenes with you and hearing your thoughts and then reading some of the feedback,
Hmm.
I like this episode just a little bit more now, kind of going into our review of it. Does that
Hmm.
sound weird?
Hmm. No, I have a
No?
positive influence.
You sure do. You sure do. Okay, well, at this point, again, I mentioned this on the last episode. Don't have anything else really planned for part one in terms of content, other than now we just have episode five left before part two comes out. But again, expect some really exciting stuff to come in after part two drops. Interviews, stuff of that nature, and if you like the companion brand, I think you'll like what I have coming out. So, all
Sounds
right.
good.
Well, yeah, thank you guys for listening to this. We got episode five coming up next, uh, sooner than later for sure. And until then, someone just got their brown belt.